this works. Give people a couple minutes to show up. Where the hell were these? Okay. 27. My annual Superstream Sunday. I don't know if I'm going to be here during Superstream Sunday. Let me check. Let me check my flights. Oh, I hope I booked flights. I hope I booked flights. Okay, no, that was that thing that I didn't go on. I don't think I got flights. Whoops. I'm gonna have to do that tonight after signing off. Okay, well, let me look at my hotel, which I did get. Check out February 4. That's before Superstream Sunday, right? Superstream Sunday is the 6th, so I will probably be back. I'll probably be back. Mic sounds strange. Oh, it's because it's been a while since I streamed. The mic is way pointing to the other end of the room. How about if I point it the right way? Wait, February 3rd is the Sunday. Oh, no. Okay, well, no Superstream Sunday for me. Yeah, there it is, February 3rd. Sorry, I won't be here. If I'm able to do it from the hotel, no, shouldn't. We'll have to make up for it by streaming a different time. The thing is, several days this year, I did really long streams that were as long or longer than Superstream Sunday. So, you know. Okay. Well, so what's going on with the compiler is I'm doing a relatively major feature, but that's on my laptop, and that's been checked out for like over 2 weeks, and it's a huge change, and it's not checked in yet. So as a break from that, I don't know how much longer it'll be before I can check it in. Hopefully not more than a few days. As a break from that, I'm just going to do some more hopefully easy stuff of just investigating more of these crash bugs that Abner found with the fuzzer. So those are all the new things since last time. So these are all, checked out right now. 27 to 39. It seems like a lot, but I hope that they're all like the same thing. Let's go see. So crash 27. Because sometimes you get several that are the same thing. Okay. Okay, so we parse an expression on the right of a binary operator. And okay, so I happen to know this because I was thinking about it today. Parse expression doesn't indicate an error. because it's like a maybe parse expression. Possibly I should change the name of it. Yeah, like there, it's this mod operator and then nothing, and that's confusing it. So, so we just say if write is null, report parse error, Lexer, oh no, I already did it. Right, because I check it down there. So like I should learn to look more at my code. So we're just going to do this. All right. Okay, well that was silly. All right, unable to parse an expression at the right of this binary operator. All right, that fixed 28. Fixed 29. Fixed 30. Fixed 31. Wow, we're so productive today. Fixed 32. Dude, I fixed like 10 bugs. This is everything that the fuzzer caught. Abner was saying like, oh my God, the fuzzer is catching so many things. It's like a crazy amount of bugs. And I was like, I hope it's all the same thing. And it is. It's all the same thing. There's no, okay, that was it. All the crash bugs are exactly one thing. Oh, well, that's the whole stream. Thanks, everybody, for coming by. No, we'll do something else after this. But, yeah, there we go. Null pointer dereference. This is when the Haskell people say, meh, 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 optional type. All right. Did I say what the new feature was? No, it's not anything too surprising, but I'll cover it in the next demo. All right, well, that was easy. Okay, let me send a quick email. Null pointers in 2019, yes. Yes. If you can't handle pointers, I would not hire that person. So that's all I'm saying. Do we have functional programming features like array mapping? Array mapping is a function. Filtering is a function. Piping functions, that's just syntax. Unless you mean streaming processing, in which case, no, we don't really do that. No, I'm not that interested in any of those things. Okay, so that was the main thing that I set out to do tonight, was to go through these 12 crashes, and we did that. So maybe what I was thinking was it might be interesting. I'm kind of going to regret doing this, but it might be interesting to search because some people ask me sometimes, what do you do about all these cleanup notes that you put in? And it's like I go through and clean them up sometimes. So maybe I'll do some of that. And the reason I said I might regret that is because I'm going to have to merge that with my big change over here later, but maybe that's fine. Okay. What was the new feature I was implementing? It's something about modules and module management. And it affects like everything in the whole compiler. Let's see how many cleanup notes we have. Only that many. 352. Except some of them are duplicate pastes, but that's fine. Maybe we'll just start looking at these and see if any are obvious things to fix now. Could just talk about for 40 minutes about something and not actually do any work. I could do that. Could do that. This crap better output LLVM bytecode. Is you're right. Okay. Bye. We'll time him out. Yeah. So can this even happen when? Well, let's look at that. So if we have a type inst and it's a lambda and it's polymorphic, then that certainly seems like it could happen. But why? Okay, this is called before we actually know the type of it. That's why we're doing this. Yeah, this is all called from parser and messenger and polymorph before we know the type. So like, yeah. So if we're adding a declaration that is polymorphic, we steal the polymorphism. The thing is, I feel like this is redundant. Because we're doing this during parse time, but we need to do it because we have this whole thing with polymorphic structs being, I mean, that would simplify the compiler a lot if we could take that out. But we have this whole thing with polymorphic structs where we, if you don't provide arguments, that just says that the whole procedure is polymorphic. And we do that during type checking. And so, when I was first writing the compiler, it seemed like you would know whether or not a procedure was polymorphic at parse time. And it's evident that that's no longer true. And in fact, there are probably other reasons, even if we took out that struct feature, which I don't really want to, there's probably other reasons having to do with the macro system that this could happen. So I feel like this is a cleanup, but it's much bigger than cleaning up this if statement. It's like this whole thing is maybe needs to happen elsewhere. But then maybe that's too big of a thing. Maybe I'm just going to make a note about this. Okay. Cleanup because of polymorphic struct wildcard arguments. We don't always know whether a procedure needs to be polymorphic until its header is type checked. For that reason, it's not really advantageous to do this here. We should probably do it in typeware.cpp, but I'm leaving it for now because it's not really causing a problem, so say we all. By the way, it's January 26th, which is a good day. That's the day that The Witness came out in 2016. It's been 3 years since the last time I released a freaking game already. Have I streamed what merging is like? It's usually automatic. And in cases when it's not, when Subversion can't figure out what to do, there's just a visual diff tool, and it's not that different from most visual diff tools. It's not especially good, but you know, it's fine. Did I just add one instead of taking it out? Yeah. Well, I took one out and then moved it and changed it. We got a more elaborate cleanup note. I'm glad you like The Witness. What do I think about implementing unit tests? Oh, I've ranted about unit tests before. I don't think they're very useful, as somebody else just said in chat. We do a great deal of testing, but it's not unit tests. Usually. Sometimes you do unit test-like things, but it's really, we don't tend to do that very much. All right, let's... I'm strangely tired as soon as I started streaming. Streaming does that to me sometimes. That's my new cleanup. Ah, you know what? This is related. This is related. We're going to put a note here. Move polysteel to type check time. And I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to put that there. And that's how we know that these two situations are related to each other. They're also not that far in the source code, but you know. Okay. What is this? This is, we're putting arguments into a lambda. In the block. Oh, in the wait, what? Redefinition of parameter. Okay. Yeah, this is not a cleanup anymore. We made a decision that things could have not identifiers. You know, sometimes early in a compiler, you don't know, like maybe every declaration is going to have an identifier, but they don't all. We have a couple of different reasons why. So yeah, that's legit. That's no longer a cleanup. Yeah, we really do need an index of rants. Sometime if I get really burnt out and can't get excited about programming for weeks, maybe I'll spend some time digging up the rants. Have bodies and headers, and the body doesn't get the type copied. Type is af lambda. That's not a thing to attack today. Load current scope is not necessarily set. Okay, this is a cleanup that we should do. Wait, does load current scope, does that even exist anymore? You know what? This is something, this is, okay, I can't touch this one because this is something that I changed very heavily for the stuff I'm doing on my laptop. Anything to do with load directives. Okay. Check parse declaration. Contains the dependencies for any identifiers if it is major. There may not be dependencies on it anymore, so we don't really make dependencies at parse time. That's a relatively major cleanup as well. Attempt to use a non-constant expression inside a struct assignment. Let's see. Look at all this. What is this even? All right. So A is a struct. X is 5, B is a struct, Y is factorial 7. I don't know why I did that, but oh no, not y colon equals. We want to do x equals. So we're gonna be using. We have an a in our struct, and we're using that, and then we're assigning its x to a non-constant value. When using equals in structs, the right-hand side of the equal must evaluate to a constant, but this one does not. That's a different error message than this one, right? So oh, this is even, oh my God. Okay, this is a crazier situation than that. This is this is like if you say this, right? Attempt to use a non-constant struct member x. Okay, I think what's going on here, this is a bug. You're supposed to be able to do this, I guess. I mean, this is a natural part of the syntax that you would be able to do this. The problem is when you do the normal version, it doesn't generate an error because we flag the identifier as being valid or something. And maybe we don't in this case. Okay. So I guess that's a good bug to fix. It's not a particularly important bug. And I actually don't like the whole way that any of this stuff happens. But sometimes that doesn't matter. Like, I have this fantasy that we're going to at some point change the whole way we handle declarations. But I don't know what the better thing is. And sometimes, if you don't know what the better thing is, then at least when you fix all the little issues with it, you have a clearer problem statement of everything that, however your solution is, has to do, right? And then if you go decide to do it a totally different way, you at least have the list of, well, this if statement is here for this reason, and we have to handle that, you know? So I think this is going to be one of those. All right. All right. Dude, if you're going to show up and have looked at the stream for 30 seconds and have no idea how stuff like this happens in the language and start suggesting syntactic changes, I got nothing to say to you. Got nothing to say to you. Okay. All right. So we're just going to break where that error message happens. Okay. Well, there's 3 places it could be happening. So we're going to... So it's this flag, right? Okay. It's the fact that we don't have this static dereferences allowed flag, and the reason we don't, let's look at where we set it. Well, this is one of the places. I don't think this is the right one. Except block. We go over all the statements in the block. If it's a declaration, otherwise. So I think this would be in statements in a struct. Wait, what the hell are we even... Okay, that's only inside a static if, so that's not the right thing. So I think what we need is in flatten. Okay. We need to propagate this. That's what we need to do. Okay. Yep. So if we get a sequence, so part of this job that we're doing in this big body of code is we're propagating these flags. So when you have an assignment like that inside a struct, we say static dereferences allowed on the operator expression. That operator expression just puts the flag on the left and right, but that, assuming that the left is an identifier, then that works. But if it's a sequence, it doesn't necessarily work. So I'm going to say this is here to propagate this flag in the case of something like x, y equals 5 inside a struct body. Maybe this whole flagging method is a bad way to do this, and we'd rather do something cleaner. Not clear, cleaner. I don't know, man. Okay, so just too many words. Propagate this flag in the case of something like that. So is expressions, yeah. It gets set on the operator expression node, then set on the sequence node here in flatten. And it's our job to copy it to identifiers. Okay. Oh, duh. Duh. Still didn't do it. Interesting. Well, maybe we don't even set this correctly in this case. I don't know. Okay, we're at line 16. We go to left. Oh, it's not a sequence, it's a comma separated arguments. I got confused because I was looking at some unrelated code that manipulated a sequence. I did that for the wrong data type. No wonder it didn't do the thing. Yeah, C, the capital C macro in this case, it's not actually copy. It is sometimes. In this case, it's just flatten it into an array. So we're like flattening out the tree in a dependency first ordered order, so that then just by iterating over the array, we can visit things in the order that we need to resolve the types. An alternative way to do that would be to use something like a zipper data structure on the tree, but back when I was programming it, it seemed simpler to flatten it into an array. That may not actually be the case. It may be better to do a zipper. I don't know. Okay. Great. That's actually the error message that we wanted. Let's do this. Well, see now, look at, dude, all the things, all the stupid things that we do just to make dumb stuff that shouldn't matter work in our programming language. So now it's saying it's not a constant. Again, because it's comma separated expressions, I guess. I don't know. This is just not a case that I ever tested. Maybe we should just say you're banned from being able to do this, but we should let people do it. Okay. Operate type, comma separated arguments. Shouldn't this have gotten decomposed? Dude, Visual Studio, God, you suck. Oh no, you're inside a procedure that's the last statement in the block, so you can't possibly look at the values of your variables in that scope. Because it's like the next line has a brace on it. You can't possibly know what the values of those variables would be. Don't get me started on another rant about all these people saying, how can you possibly program without a wonderful IDE that does everything for you? We have the first release this year. Yeah, we've got to have at least a closed release this year. Yeah. What does a comma b equals 5 do? It assigns 5 to both. What if you have more variables on the LHS? What would that do? A, B, C, D, E equals X, Y, 7. That would be an error. There's only two cases that are valid. One case is one value on the right, which gets copied to all of them, and the other case is same number on the right as there are on the left. When was the last time I heard from David? Are you asking me? If it's the David I think, I see him pretty often. You're right, there is no Node.js on this stream, and I really hope there never will be. It's hard for me to imagine a situation in which there would be Node.js. All right. So now I feel like this should have been removed by desugaring. Yeah, so we have this flag. I think we're not correctly, okay. So what should happen is when we see this, this should get broken into a sequence containing two statements. And I believe that that is true. So we should have ast removed by desugaring set on this thing. So I don't think so, though. Really? That's maybe not the best. So I see that it has a substitution on it. See, because we're trying to be good for metaprogramming, we have way harder problems than everybody else who makes programming languages, right? So here, we're ignoring the fact that this statement has a substitution, but it does have one. This is going to be a sequence, sequence, containing two different assignments, because we break comma-separated assignments into different ones. The problem is, and I'm not going to fix this right now, I'm going to put it on a to-do list for later. The problem is that substitution is going to get reported to the metaprogram that you run as if it was the original source code, right? So, like, we kind of want to be able to do that. Like, we want to be able to give people things in a format that they can understand easily. And if you as the user writing a metaprogram that processes code don't have to worry about all these comma-separated syntax cases and only need to care about things with one thing on the left and one on the right, that's simpler for everybody. But the problem is sometimes you really want to know what was the original source code, right? For example, if you're printing your program or translating it, or who knows what, right? And so for many things, or most things, when we set a substitution like that, we have this desugaring flag, and we give you both versions. We give you the version, and we say, this is not really the version we're using, but if you want to know what it was this, and then we turned it into this other thing. Whereas most programming languages just do tree transformations and don't care. We actually, when we do tree transformations, we still have to tell you what the original thing was, because it's our contract with the user, you know what I'm saying? And I think we're not really upholding that here. But, you know, on the list of problems that we have, that's pretty far down the list. So I think I will procrastinate on that. Okay, so that was an oversight. I did this stuff, this ability to assign to struct members, I did after we did that whole sequence desugaring. There we go. Foo. Well, foo doesn't do anything yet. So let's go -6, 375. We're going to say B is a B, print B is whatever. Right, so we compile that. Okay, it worked. It worked. And if we set this to 42 instead, then we get they both 42, right? But as somebody asked, if you have a mismatching number, whoops, it'll complain, right? Or if you go 3 things on the left and 2 things on the right, that's also invalid, right? It's either one or all. Was I referring to release of closed beta? Yeah. We have to basically this year. It would just be waiting too long if we don't. Preferably we'd get to open this year too, but we just have to see how things go. You know, as often happens, some stuff has taken longer than we wished. Any advice for someone who has to write C at work? I don't know. C is not that bad. It's not my choice, but C is pretty okay. Any music today? I should because it's Saturday night, but I kind of want to make Saturday night be music night, but I just haven't streamed in so long that I don't want to make my only stream in forever music night. Do I know the indie game Songbringer? I don't know that game. Is it about somebody who brings songs? Looks like it's about somebody who brings songs. Okay. Procedurally generated Zelda clone. That could be cool. Could be cool. All right, well, we fixed some problems here. Oh, and the whole reason I was doing this was so we could do this and test that error message, but we're going to check in. Okay. Yeah. So that works. So let's make a release build and make sure that, you know, I didn't run the tests before I did this. It's unlikely to break something, but it could. You never know. Can't always predict. What do I think of indie game and how it represents your work? You mean the documentary? Well, I think it's fine. There's just a thing in it that people generally have widely misunderstood, and that's a bummer. And if I'd realized that was how people would interpret that part of the movie, then I would have asked them to edit it a little differently. But you know, basically there's a part in the movie where I'm talking about how I got frustrated at like the press and critical reception for Braid. And a lot of people seem to think that I'm saying in that part that I'm frustrated with players like not getting what the game means or something. And it's not what I was talking about there. But because I knew what I was talking about, it made it hard to like look at the movie when they showed me the draft of it and understand that it could be interpreted that way. So that's just one of those bummers. I don't know. The thing is that movie mostly isn't about me anyway, right? Like I'm in it for 5 to 8 minutes. It's mostly about Edmund and Tommy and Phil. So it's not that big a deal. But yeah, I still get like dumb stuff from 4chan people who are mad because they interpreted that part that way, and it's something. Okay. So we built something, we ran the game, we're going to run the tests. We still, by the way, as far as I know, have not fixed the Heisenbug. There we go. We got hit by it right there. One of these days, I'm going to fix it. It's kind of a testament. I'm starting to think, because it hasn't affected the game in a noticeable way, I think it's actually a bug in the meta program for the test system. I don't know how to verify that, but we may approach it at that point. in that way. All right. Fix some deficiencies in comma separated value assignment within structs. Well, that's fancy. Not what I set out to do, but is good. We fixed a problem. So now the thing that I did set out to do, dude, who even knows which frickin' cleanup that was? It was like halfway down the page. This one. Yeah. So I think this gets demoted. If it's an assignment and we can't evaluate it to a constant, see, this check is not really correct. It's not really correct. I'm not sure why this one isn't going off, because this is a parse time check, I think. Oh no, maybe not. Okay. Do we even call that anymore? What is going on? Check parse declaration. This is not a declaration, right? Okay. This is not a declaration. This is an assignment. It goes through a separate path, even though it's almost the same thing, which is another reason why I want to change the way that this works. So this would be triggered more if I did something like that. Even though that looks almost the same, it goes through a different path. Non-imperative declarations can only be initialized to constant values. That part that I have in red there is not so good. Why are we highlighting the parameter of the procedure? That's weird, right? Because this should be the whole procedure call. Yeah. Maybe just when we feed a procedure call to the error highlighter, it puts what's inside, because we usually report parameter errors. We'll deal with that later. Okay. This is kind of misleading, but I've just got bigger fish to fry right now. Okay. When do we call that other thing? Call it importing. Okay, we don't need that. Add context. Yeah, I mean, this is what's confusing me is, let's just go to that. Okay, so this declaration is online. I'm confused about why this error isn't tripping there in check parse declaration. So line 17. Oh, that's in, let's just do a go to declaration. Go to definition. All right. I said 17, all right? Come on. Not minus 17, positive 17. Is this the right one? It may not be. Decal file name. Foo. Yep, it is. All right. We've set that removed by desugaring flag. Pick from args on right. Oh. It's not mode assign, it's this thing down here. Pick from args on right. Okay, well, if we did this one, same. So like, when do we do this one? Mode assign. When is that even a thing? Scalar results. If the expression is a procedure call, extract. If the expression is comma separated arguments, it should be mode assign. Bro. Did I not save correctly? I did. Let's try it again. File name foo. Oh, it's a procedure call. Let's make an identifier instead of a function call. Foozle. So this is not constant. All right. That shouldn't work. Oh my God. All right. Well, this is a bug. That's not, okay. Our line number is going to be wrong, like all these things, because I inserted some stuff. This is line 19. See, you just start exercising things that don't get exercised, and they just don't work. That's how it is. Well, I'm glad you like The Witness. Thank you. It's Witness Anniversary Day today. Are there plans to port The Witness to the Switch? Not anytime soon. We might do it later. We've got a lot going on right now. Cheers for Witness Anniversary. I'm so glad we managed to release that game. It was so hard to finish that game. Oh my God. It is crazy that The Witness is 3 years old. I can't believe time has gone by that quickly. Why is it so hard to finish? It's a big game with a lot of stuff in it. And all the stuff had to be very detail oriented. Like, it mattered that everything was just right, otherwise it kind of wrecks the game. And we're a small team. And it's hard to make games for small teams even when the games aren't ambitious and big. How long did it take to develop The Witness? It was about 6.5 years for the initial versions, the PS4 and the PC, and then we did like Mac and iOS and stuff after that. So we continued development on it. Was I the only programmer on the team? No, not even close. We had we sort of scaled up over time, but for the majority of serious development, we had 3 programmers besides me on The Witness. At least. And then there were some times when we had people doing platform stuff as contractors. Was porting to macOS and iOS worth it? I don't know. That's unclear. How slowly do sales come in after 3 years on the market? Well, they're still paying for the company mostly or entirely. So, we were bigger than we were when we were developing the game, and the sales of the game are still paying for us. So, but that's going to stop soon. Soon we're going to be back to burning the cash in the bank. How do you stay afloat when you don't release anything for that long? Well, do you mean the 6.5 years or the 3 years? 6.5 years was you try to stretch the money and then you run out of money and then you borrow some from people. For the 3 years so far, Witness did pretty okay, and we released it in various places. So the Mac version doesn't make a ton of money compared to the PC version, but it makes some. Keeps us going a little, We released an Xbox version. That was not the most massive, but it keeps us going a little. Are we going to scale down soon to avoid bank burning? No. The only case in which we'll scale down is if we have some kind of company-threatening disaster. How do you actually create puzzles for a game like that? In The Witness, it depends on which puzzles you're talking about, but the panel puzzles especially, it was mostly on paper, or I would just program in the idea of what the puzzle would be, and then I would try it out and mess with it. Are there any platforms I wouldn't target again? Not really. Even if a platform doesn't have a ton of people on it, then it probably helps. The only questionable one is iOS, and the only reason it's questionable is just because it's such a painful port for us, because it's our own engines all the time. We can't just push the Unity button that says output iOS. And because of that, and because the market is so different there. So another game like The Witness, I'm not sure we would do on iOS, because people don't really want to pay for premium games there, right? They want it free to play microtransaction games, and so for something like Sokoban game, we might be able to break the levels into things that you could pay 99 cents for, right? And then we might make some money on iOS. But that's sort of the fact that it's so painful because it's a mobile platform and people don't really want to pay for games there. Those two things together is rough. It's really rough. No, you got some painted canvases and have been painting things. Well, right on. Hello, hummus. What up? What up? Okay. For some reason, just starting the stream an hour ago made me tired. And now I have a problem that I don't know. Okay, we're in mode assign. Like, this just shouldn't be legal. Okay. So that looks like what about that? That shouldn't be legal. I'm hoping that this doesn't error either, but it does. Okay. Where the hell is the... Look at all this code we have. All right. What line? 19? Is that what line we're on? This is such a weird bug to like not have fixed already. It's like so obvious in some sense. Okay. Well, something tells me we're going to early exit before this, but let's see. Okay. That's in print. That's in String Builder. It's in Windows. Wait, why are we not on foo? What's going on? Why is foo pulling in Windows and string? Oh, because we load basic and it's pulling all that right. We got to factor our modules to not do as much craziness. Windows. Okay. Well, that's a whole situation there. Let me delete all. What are all these old breakpoints, man? This one was asked line 808, so we'll keep that one. Delete all this stuff that I don't know what it is. Okay. Have I ever tried Sea Lion? No. No. You're fighting with some C++. All right, well, That is a thing. I heard C++ is a character in the next Mortal Kombat game. So have fun with that. So I'm not sure why this declaration is not getting here, except that, okay. Instead of going by line number, we're going to go by serial. Yeah. So because this is the first one, we're going to get rid of all those false breaks that we just had by saying the condition is actually this. And we're going to copy that for future use. And we're going to, at the top of this procedure, oh, wait. Okay, hold on. We don't necessarily want that because we're creating substitute declarations here. Right, so other decal has its own serial. Okay, so we need to check that here. No. Here. Like maybe we just, whoops. I didn't mean to exit, shouldn't matter. Oh, come on. How is that? Do we like not? I think we're ignoring the fact that this is substituted. We're simply not checking it. Let's see if we type check this one, right? So or decal s is equal to that. Okay, so we have the other one. We have the one that is desugared decal flags and ast removed by desugaring. Yep, that's that flag. So how do we get here? Okay. Okay. We flattened it. Oh no. Wait, no, that's in parser, right? Like, we do the desugaring in. Yeah, I think so. Okay, what exactly do we do? We make the new declaration, and where do we put it? Mode assign. Other decal. I think we just put this into an array. Where does other decal go? Wait, what? This is like so broken, dude. Like, I don't know if that fixes anything, but okay. That is what we expected to see. We were just like, this all is messy and needs to be redone. This whole handling of all this stuff. I need to like do a 2-week meditation retreat of just thinking about how to do all this cleaner. But in the meantime, all this stuff that we do, we just mishandled it a little bit. And we were returning in a certain case, and we shouldn't have returned. We should have like made the declaration. So when it wasn't working, you'll notice like we ended up with an empty struct. If we still, yeah, see, we had an empty struct, and the reason is because that return just kicked us out of the function without adding any declarations. We removed the old one for desugaring, but we never added any new ones. So we had nothing. And now we have something, right? If this is constant, then hopefully that works. Yes. Okay. That might be all the serious programming that I want to do tonight, because I am a little tired. Fix a bug involving handling of comma separated struct assignments. Have I played Stephen Lavell's new game? Not yet, no. I mean, he makes a lot of little games, and I play some of those sometimes, but the littler games I don't totally keep up on, because I like it when ideas are pursued all the way. But, once in a while. Lines of code. Well, not much bigger than before. 45. This doesn't count the stuff that's on my laptop. Let me see how many lines of code on my laptop. I don't think it'll be much more, but it might be a little more. Come on, laptop. I only paid $4,000 for you. Please turn on. This is 45,400. So I guess I added 300 lines of code lately. Yuck. Yuck. 4K for a laptop. Yeah, I mean, by the time you get a fast SSD that you have the vendor install because you're too lazy to want to get a separate one and install it yourself, which I should have done anyway, because I should have wiped the operating system, because maybe that's one of the reasons this thing is a slow ass thing. I don't know. Zero lines of code is best lines of code. Well, I'm not sure 0 is the optimal number, but yes, the smaller the number, the better, for sure. For sure. Yeah, in general, when I buy a laptop, it costs between $3,000 and $4,000. And Nevertheless, every year laptops get worse and worse. Like, I wish I could go back to like 3 years ago and buy one of those laptops for $4,000 because today they're so bad. In my comments, sometimes I have colons, something like this. Then I also have tags. Do I have other ways to annotate comments? Those are the two main ways. The tags are by subject, so cleanup means things that I ought to clean up. The colon-based ones is more like a hyperlink, where it's like anybody who uses that same tag in different places is talking about the same specific subject, right? So sometimes if there's something funny in the code and you're like, why is this there? Well, you could look for the other tag and see the other part of the code that's meant to coordinate with that part. Your XPS 13 that came with Ubuntu is pretty slick and is still good. It doesn't have trackpad buttons, does it? No, it doesn't. It's got a glossy screen, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Did I review the site? No, I feel bad. I feel bad. I need to do that. Feels bad, man. How does my Razer laptop hold up? Well, I'm not really using it right now. It's been relegated to spare laptop in the office duty. But I wish I hadn't done that because this laptop is worse, even though it's 2 years newer. You think Lenovo has a 1050 laptop center trackpad with buttons? That is this one, and it sucks. Yeah, it is a bummer. Believe me, it's a bummer because I was hoping it was going to be good. Does Emacs allow easy jumping between comment tags? Well, if you want to sit down and program it, then it does, but I never bothered. I just can't tolerate the concept of having to program in eLisp these days. Yeah, so I don't recommend it. So there's multiple problems. The worst one is that it's just really sluggish sometimes for no reason. Like, it feels like there's like a fundamental problem with data transfer on the buses or something. Like, sometimes just even like scrolling down the web browser gets really slow and you're like, what the hell is going on? This is a $4,000 laptop. But there's lots of other stuff wrong with it. So I bought it for the trackpad buttons, and the trackpad buttons don't press consistently. Like, it feels like you're pressing it, but unless you press hard in the middle of the button, it doesn't necessarily actually send a click to the computer, even though it feels like it sends a click. Which, like, why do you have a button if that's what's happening? You know, the keyboard kind of hurts my hands a little bit. It's given me a little bit of repetitive stress injury problem that I didn't have on the Razer. There's just a lot of problems with it. The screen is not that good. Windows 10 update bricked your laptop. It got stuck preparing updates. Then it got bricked and you can't even access BIOS. Wow. Can't even access BIOS. Rough days. For 4K, there's got to be a good laptop out there. I cannot find one, honestly. I would, if I could get a good laptop that I would be happy with, I would make that payment right now to replace this one. And I just don't know what to buy. There's nothing. Dude, I would pay $8K for a laptop that made me happy when I worked on it. I use a laptop a lot. It's really worth it to me if it's good, and it's frustrating. You like the Dell XPS, but no real buttons. Yeah, I gotta have buttons. I just can't. I can't do this fake bad macOS thing on the trackpad. It's just that would make me quit computers if I had to do that. When you spend 14 plus hours a day on a laptop, you'll pay plenty for it. That is true. And here's the funny thing is, since I got this laptop and I don't like it that much, I just don't, it changed my patterns. I just don't go out to cafes and program that much anymore because I don't like it, because I don't like the laptop. So, yeah. I don't know, man. Next needs to come back and make a laptop. Aren't they owned by Apple? I think there is a Next laptop. It's called the MacBook. What laptop is it? It's a ThinkPad X1 Extreme. Do I get distracted when I work in public? Not usually. And if I do, there's usually a simple fix like putting on some headphones. But I don't usually listen to music when I work. Never get a MacBook with that touch bar. It sucks so bad. Yeah, it's true. It sucks. We had to get one because we had to make sure games work on it, and it's just the worst. It's just the worst. Have I tried the XPS series? No. Actually, I think I did one. I don't know. I don't remember why I didn't like them. You really just like the modern design trend of removing buttons from everything? So do I. Let's not even talk about buttons. Dude, I am back from the day when you had a frickin' brightness knob on your monitor, like an analog brightness knob, and you could just turn it a little bit to like be how bright you want it right now. And it wasn't like pressing 17 buttons to open menus and toggle crap and have only 10 discrete brightness settings, one of which is too dim and one of which is too bright. Like, why can't we get that back? No, you can't have an analog knob on your monitor. Why not? It's just so crazy, man. The worst thing about the touch bar, I mean, the hitting it by accident is bad and the no tactile feedback is bad. But like, the worst thing is it goes to sleep. So if you don't press the escape key for like 2 minutes, the touch bar turns off. And then if you want to hit escape, you have to hit the touch bar to wake it up, and then you can press escape. It's so bad, dude. It's so bad. Like, I not only can't believe that they shipped it at all, but I can't believe that they made that the standard thing and there's no other option. It's so bad. Bring back the Dude, the degauss button was fun. That was fun times. Fun times, man. You couldn't constantly do it. I actually wonder if I sustained genetic damage from pressing the degauss button too many times, you know? Like, what are the consequences of that? You're wondering if erasers are supposed to cancel each other or not. I believe they are, and there's only one puzzle. it's not that they cancel each other exactly, right? It's that one of them gets evaluated first and it makes an error because it has nothing to satisfy it. And then the other one erases the error, right? And I think there's only one puzzle where it's possible to do that in the whole game, but I'm not sure. What are my thoughts on the future of PC gaming, considering that Windows is getting worse? Do I think console will take over the market? I don't know. I don't think console will take over because PC gaming is just too good. But Windows is bad, so I don't know what's going to happen. It's not obvious. I mean, I was hoping that Valve would do a good job on their thing, but they haven't, and they don't seem interested in doing that. So SteamOS isn't going to be the answer. So I don't know. Like something new has to happen eventually, because Windows just keeps getting worse. Like like I said, I can't stop my computer from rebooting ever, and it doesn't care. Microsoft doesn't care. So, in fact, they not only don't care, they actively prevent me as a programmer from turning off system services and stuff that prevent reboots. It's crazy. So it's just a giant fuck you. And if I had any alternative, I would switch off the operating system. And as time goes on, I think that's going to get worse and worse, and it's going to affect gaming even more, console OSs are getting worse quickly. That's true as well. Windows is bad, but you think Microsoft is subject to market forces to keep it from getting so bad that people leave for greener pastures? I'm not sure about that. Well, I mean, I don't. So here's the thing is, okay, what you said is true, but Microsoft mostly doesn't make money off games in Windows. So if Windows became unusable for games, but fine for everything else, I don't know if that would be bad enough to force Microsoft to react. Or not even unusable for games, but like unusable for games that serious gamers want to play, But like casual gamers can still play all their casual games like Diablo 3 and whatever. That could happen. Isn't Steam Proton making progress? I guess so, but like how little progress over how many years is good progress, I don't know, man. Wow, has the stream really only been going for an hour 34? I really got tired as soon as I pressed the stream button, but I'm glad we did a stream tonight because it's been a while, so it was good to fire one up. Any last minute questions before I go to bed? Make some tea. No, I want to get sleep. I've got things I'm doing tomorrow. Play any good games recently? The last game I really played was Below, and that was worth playing for sure. despite some bugs. There was some bugs in it. I'm in San Francisco right now. Do I play any multiplayer games? I mean, there's a bunch of videos of me playing Blackout on the YouTube channel. Played a bunch of PUBG before that. I used to play... I mean, I probably played 3,000 or 4,000 hours of Counter-Strike back in the day. Do I prefer Seattle or San Francisco? It depends. So overall, I prefer San Francisco. My apartment in Seattle was good, though. That was a good apartment. And there just aren't quite as many angry, ranting, pooping on the sidewalk homeless people in Seattle. So, have I played Ark? Nope. Run Test Suite. Yeah, we should run Test Suite. I don't think it's going to matter, but it's a good point. If we checked in something that's a disaster, then we want to know. Where was my apartment in Seattle? It was in South Lake Union. Do I not live in Seattle? I do not live in Seattle anymore. I gave it up after a year. It wasn't working for me. Okay. Am I moving the company with me? No. Nope. Am I reading anything interesting? Here and there. Thing here, thing there. Why'd I moved up to Seattle? For tax purposes. California taxes are so high, it's insane. It is completely insane. Especially if you're paying for a game company with your personal money. The amount that it costs to live here is bananas. It's bananas. Other than the cold, did anything else suck about Seattle? Well, just everything there. All the kind of activities that I like to do are better down here in San Francisco. And like hiking and nature stuff is maybe better there, except that it's colder. But like, I'm not a big hiking guy, so The weather is way better in San Francisco. What type of parser algorithm do you use? We just parse with regular code. Regular code. Just moved to Hawaii, it's 4%. Yeah. I mean, everyone I know who lived in Hawaii felt like it was too small and had to leave. All right. Well, I think it's going on bedtime, but thanks for coming by. We're gonna stream again soon sometime. In the meantime, let's see if there's somebody we could like raid or something. We could raid Huskers playing Call of Duty. Working on a multi-character selection system. dude, I want to see like some serious game programming. You know what I'm saying? Spontan. Qt. Whenever someone says something like C++/Qt, like that's what I'm programming in, it's like, okay. When your UI widget set is part of what you say you're doing, it's a red flag. Longish MMO dev stream in Unity. That's a thing we could do.
Man.
Time until next chat.
I started Global Game Jam last night, and then
All right. Music's bothering me. So. There's all kinds of noob people doing like programming learning stuff, but it's very rare to have someone who's like experienced in really jamming. Global Game Jam. I don't know, folks. I don't know what to say. Heard someone playing Braid. I kind of doubt there's any Braid streams going. You can see. Like, does Braid even have a category on Twitch? It's old enough. Apparently not. Oh, well, more. Oh, puzzle platformer. Has no picture. No results found. Hey, there's some people playing The Witness. Someone's playing on iOS. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that like 3 years later, I can just drop on here and there's some people playing. That's nice. And the pictures look pretty. You know, that's pretty good. I can't drop people on a Witness stream. It's creepy. You can't raid people on a stream of your own game. It's just not how that works. Okay, we're gonna go back to the guy whose music was. Oh wait, Thrusty Ship. I think we already hosted Thrusty Ship before. Boring stream. The music is killing me. The Stack Overflow is killing me. It's hard to find people to host sometimes, man. Wait, where was that dude that I clicked on? Was it this one? No. Oh, yeah. Let's host this dude.
like every single time I had a bad idea.
Thank you, everybody, for coming by. And we'll do some more streams later on. Thanks very much.